Namrata ji, yeah, we can start now.
Okay, so namaste. Namaste and a very good morning and good evening back in home. And I have some friends who are joining from Europe and even from Canada. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. With the, ma'am, can I go ahead and start?
I have to remind Dheeraj that the live hasn't started on our own page. Has it begun, Dheeraj?
No, it is going live on in please.
How about us? Can we go live on our own page?
I don't think so, but we can continue. Yeah, Namrata
Okay.
ji, please continue. I will try that.
Okay. So yes, Namrata, thank you so much for organizing this, event for our community. This is a special morning for all of us because, we have heard the change makers, we have, imagined, but seeing you all come together, supporting each other through your work feels amazing. Being the first president, female president, I have to add female president because it's an extraordinary thing that I feel very well supported, and the structure around me is, very powerful. Having Namrata and so many women in the committee around me gives a structure to, and the power to the work we do. Otherwise, a nonprofit, we have, so many issues within our association, but, having women like Namrata and you all to impart your time this morning, gives us the power to, convey the message. And I would like to talk about Namrata. Namrata is currently our spokesperson. We needed a voice as powerful as hers. And she is, you both know, and the community also know that she's a neuroscientist. And, it's amazing that she had brought, like her, very powerful, women from the community and beyond. So over to you, Namrata. Look forward to listening to everyone this morning. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So let's start this Women's Month. So we are celebrating all the women in our life. I'm not gonna invest so much time on the introduction part because I would need few more hours if I go into all these three individual scientists and talk about what all they have accomplished. So I'm gonna go stick with the basic introduction. On our panelists today, the first one is Dr. Nishu Karna. She is an astrophysicist. She is currently working at Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Second one on the panel, we have Dr. Hornung. She is currently working as a research postdoctoral associate at Texas A&M School of Dentistry. The third one on our panelist is Dr. Ranju Pokhrel, a freshly minted PhD. We still have to go for her graduation. And she's working as a scientist at Medpace here in Cincinnati. One thing that I want to come up over here is whenever we celebrate women, whenever we start to talk about Women Month, also when I wrote the article on women's right are human right, the first question that always comes to me, or even to any women who want to talk about some women, is, do you hate men? No, we absolutely do not hate men. We love, we respect, and we adore the men in our life, be it in the capacity of dad, brother, friends, spouses, partner. And for someone like me, who was never raised with the mindset of only blood is your family, I have so many lists of men who has helped me to be where I am. So no, we do not hate men. We want them to support us. Second thing is, why are you talking about women in this just 1 month or International Women's Day? So let me remind you, it is 112th Women's Day or Women's History Month. So we have come across a long way, but still there are something that needs to be changed. We want that discussion to go on. No doubt that we need to do that over the year. Every single day is a Women's Day. So we just want to have a discussion on. That's all the concept or thought of this webinar is we're not going to change the world. I know that, and all on the panelists know that. We just want to have this discussion, this dialogue going on. And believe it or not, there will always be denial that, oh, there is something called sexism. There is. There is something called microaggression. There is. There is some called bias. There is. So we're going to hit on some of that point too during the process, and then we're going to discuss on that one as well. Before we start the webinar, some housekeeping rules. I'm going to talk in English because some of our panelists don't understand Maithili. Some of our panelists don't understand Maithili or Nepali, so we're going to stick to English. And I am delighted that these three scientists, I'm not going to call them women scientists, so change start from me. All these three scientists, I sincerely appreciate all of you taking some time off and giving this time to community, because once the little girl back in Nepal or here, when they hear you, they will be inspired, because you all three have been my inspiration throughout. You have helped me in different stages of my career. Has it not been for all three of you, I would not have been here either, because you have always kept me grounded and you have never let me leave science. So with that, please interrupt, or if you have any point, if you have any question, any suggestion, please drop it in the chat box. I'll try to monitor that as well. And with further ado, let's start our discussion that I was telling. So first question that I always had and still have, that is for any scientist: what inspired you to do science, or who inspired you to do science? And I want the answer from all three panelists. So why not start with Nishu?
Thanks, Namrata, for inviting me over here. It's really good. So what inspires, oh my God, my family background. So my dad, I will say my first impression is my dad. Like, he worked, like he had his schooling in art, liberal art. He worked for the bank, and he is doing research in astronomy science. It's like a huge background, and he was always like so much deep into the research that it always influenced me. So I have a role model on my home, my dad, who is a male, right? And I have a sister, like I have sisters working on like different field, like physics or commerce, something. So I have like whole thing I can call is my family that inspired me since I was a kid. And that's why I'm in science. And it's our day-to-day thing, right? Science is our day-to-day thing. You don't have to differentiate as a part of life. It's there. So I will start with the family. So that's my point.
Thank you, Nishu. What about you, Becky?
So my parents supported me in doing whatever I wanted to do. They're basically like, you need to be able to support yourself because you're not always going to have somebody there to support you. So do what you want to do. So when I first started school, what I'm doing now is not what I originally wanted to do. I was afraid of all of the standardized tests that they have. So I didn't pursue grad school when I first got my bachelor's degree. It wasn't until I talked to my little sister, who has her PhD in microbiology. When I was asking her about it, she was like, it's really nothing. Just go ahead and go for it. So that's when I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and try it and see. And that's when I was like, this really is nothing. It's not as hard as I thought it was. Well, I guess for some people it can be hard, but I guess if you're passionate about it, it's not as hard as you think it's going to be. So I'd say family. And obviously, since I got my PhD while I was married, my husband's support also helped with that.
Thank you, Becky. Ranju?
Hello. Hi, Namrata. Thank you for your kind introduction. And I think for me, what inspired to be in science was my curious mind. Since I was a kid, I was very curious about, these little things going around, everyday, day-to-day activities and things. Every time I would look up in the sky, gaze at stars, would be like, what's going on in there. I was not really into this bio kind of science when I was very young. I really enjoyed studying astronomy. I still remember in class 9 and 10, we really had the last chapters dedicated for physics and astronomy, or astronomy, something like that. And I was very interested in those two topics, and I could talk about those, when I was 9, started watching videos, and it really inspired me. And I think since then, but when I completed my plus 2, I never really knew there was in TC they had astronomy department. I didn't know that. Yeah, had I known, I would have probably chosen a different path. But anyways, yeah. And then I think it's since then, curious little mind, going around. I think that was something that really motivated me in science. And for me, like, I am probably the first generation from my entire family to go pursue a science background, to have a PhD. So, and always that feeling that I have to do something, like as a role model for all of my siblings. I have, because I'm the oldest, I have a ton of younger ones. So I think, I hope I could do a little bit better, inspire at least some of them to do good in life. That has always been like a very starting point for me. And then I went further. I think that is how I got involved with science, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you all. So family background, most important, where you are coming up from, very important. And then, as I said, no, we do not hate men. And Becky, she is as competent of a mom, as competent of a scientist, hands down. She's the best. Nishu, if a girl from Janakpur coming to Harvard is not an inspiring story, I don't know what else going to be the inspiring story for anybody else. And Ranju, I have seen you. We have been together since Sri Chandra. So I know what all you have accomplished and what all hurdles you have gone through. So very proud of all three of you. Another question, as we are in STEM and we're gonna guide kind of our discussion along that way. Before I hit some of the topic that we want to go ahead with, what still keeps you motivated to do science? Because as you know, all those writing proposal, all those writing, paper publication, grant proposal, oh my God, we can go on and on. I think we might need to have one more webinar just to sit down and see how we can do a writing proposal in science, and that would be helpful. So what keeps you going right now? Because I know I got the gist of what inspired you when you were a little girl growing up to do science. But now, what is that one thing about science that keeps you keep going? Starting with Nishu again.
Oh, okay. I love it. I love what I do. And that is the thing which keeps me over here. I love doing research, and I love when I can teach someone else, passing my knowledge to younger generation. It gives you a fuel. It gives you energy, right? So writing proposal is one thing, but the thing is, writing proposal is also something you want people to know, oh, this is the research we are doing. What happens? I'm proposing this thing. The proposing means you're proposing a new idea, right? And that's what you're writing a proposal. So it's related to your love, related to your passion, right? So that keeps you like ongoing for your work. So I will just say like love for your work. That is the main thing you want. If you don't love your work, you're never going to enjoy your life. So do what you love. And I love science.
I second that. Yeah. Becky.
I'm going to agree with Nishu on that. But also the curiosity part is when you do the research and you get the data and you're trying to figure out what it means, you're going to do more research to try to figure out. It's never ending. Yeah. There's always more questions to be answered. So it's just the curiosity of what if? What is this? What does this mean? Well, what if you do X? So curiosity definitely too.
Ranju?
For me, I guess my academic part is left a little bit behind now because I transitioned into industry. So when I went from academia, writing grants, proposal, and everything, to industry now, grant writing for me is like a bid defense. So you basically go fight for the grant anyways, you just do it differently. We used to write grants in board paper, now we do it in PowerPoint proposal. So that's how it's changed for me. But I think the thing that I enjoy doing, I think you really have to enjoy what you are actually doing. For me, when I first transitioned into industry, this might help someone who is looking to go forward to industry. When I transitioned myself, I found like a very big discrepancy between what I was doing before and what I started to do then. So it was kind of, I had to toggle all around and try to keep in touch with everything. But now this is my first year. I've completed, as academic, not as an industrial scientist. And I think now, as more as I understand what the science I'm doing, I'm basically a clinical laboratory scientist, which means that I learn about clinical tests, whatever your blood test, different new tests that we're doing, all these tests. And I think understanding this test, understanding this, how they work, because this applies to like everyone, we are all going through, that is something that nobody can avoid. So yeah, and learning about these things, learning about new techniques and how we measure, let's say we're measuring blood glucose, there might be a ton of different techniques, what does what, and learning about those things is really interesting. So yeah, I've been liking it so far. And of course, I had complaints when I joined, but now as I stepped up, as I took all my baby steps and trying to walk and crawl, now it's good. Yeah. You just have to be a little bit patient.
Oh my God, I resonate with all three of you. And you know what's the glory about this? Nishu is from Astrophysics. Ranju is from biochemistry, microbiology. Me and Becky are from neuroscience. But we all have the same thing that goes on with everything. And then one thing that right now, me and Becky are in the, on the verge, if we can go for the academia or we have to change the path or something like that. Nishu is already established in Harvard, and then Ranju is in industry. So we have from all over the background. Like when you do PhD, sometimes you wonder if you want to be in academia, if you want to be in industry. So we have panelists even vouching for that one. So you can go to whatever you want to do. So thank you.
Yeah, that happens until you find a position. It always happens in the transition phase. You have transition from PhD graduate to postdoc, and from postdoc to some permanent position. There's always a thing, oh my God, should I stick in academia or should I move? I can earn double the salary what I get in the academia. Or I should enjoy my passions and stick with the thing I love.
Oh my God, I have that discussion with Becky every single day, that what we gonna do, because at the end of the day, bills need to be paid, right, Becky?
Yeah, I agree. But but like I was telling my husband, so there's this concept called the Venus Society, which is basically no money, no nothing. People volunteer. It would basically be an automated society. So robots would provide food and trash service and basic necessities. And you can sit home and game all day if you want it. However, others can go and do research if you want it. So it's just, I would thrive in that society. It's not about the money for me.
Awesome. So yeah, that is like, when I was trying to get this panel, I was like, I'm not only vouching for academia, we have as competent of a scientist in industry, and Ranju is a perfect example for that one. So I wanted to have scientists from all around our so-called science after what we do after PhD. So I wanted to have some from academia, some from industry.
Well, see, that's good, because I know I've talked to some young ladies that are working on their PhD now, and they don't know what way they want to go. And having her here, if they're listening, is great for them to decide whether they just want to go straight to industry or go and pursue a postdoc in academia.
Yeah.
So
yes.
that is very beneficial.
Yes, and also not only industry and academia, there are some other, like if you want to go and do some patent on some of the findings, you can go for those routes too. Writing, there are so many different routes. So there are options that you can browse around.
Yeah.
Now, next thought or discussion, or which I have faced myself, what is microaggression and how it is in STEM. So in general context, what is microaggression? Sometimes they are told or they are addressed to you and you think it is as a compliment. How? I'll give you an example. If a woman is in leadership position and she says something authoritative, she is usually regarded as your bossy. But if a male is in the same position, he will be regarded as leaders. One thing I want to add on here, it is not only coming from the male or female, it is the mindset that we all have, or the education system, or any system that we are coming from. They are not personally attacking you. It is just the system that has shaped us in a way. And for me, being a woman of color, I usually get is like, the first thing that I usually get is, your English is so good. How long you have been in the United States? And I'm like, yeah, I'm non-white. That's why you're giving me that tagline. So these are the kind of comment that you get, which is not actually personally attacking you, but it is the system that we come from. And I have problem with that. And if you go to the stats part, 64% of the female who are in leadership position in United States reported one. They face this microaggression. And it comes from male, female, everybody. It is, again, I'm not targeting a male group, as we will be always, none of us hate male, no. I always want to emphasize that part, but it is there. So how do you deal with it? I'm not even going to go into the Nepal, because there the discrimination is raw, still raw. So microaggression in every aspect of life, but then again, denial system is already there. I volunteer for 3 organizations. And even in some of the committee meeting or something like that, we do get that. If it is writing the minutes, oh, you should do that. That won't be hinted to you as that you have to do it. You are doing it just because you are a female. So those kind of microaggression I'm talking about. And let's talk about it. Let's see how we address it, and let's see how we deal with it. As I told you, it is often taken as compliment. It is not. Some of us don't even think that is a microaggression, but it is. So how do you ladies deal with it? So starting with Nishu, what are the microaggressions that you have seen at workplace, and how do you deal with it?
Like same example you gave, your English is good. So sometimes I take it, okay, yeah, I speak 4 languages, so that's fine. I'm good. I'm like multilingualist. So English is good. That's good. But the other time when there are sometimes it is intentional and sometimes it is unintentional, and unintentional happens a lot of time. That's how I figured out when there is 2 different race, or when it's 2 different gender, or like anything different. If there is like 2 different age people, it always happens. It always happens. It's always there. So it should not stop you from what you're doing. That's what I feel. And most of the time what I do is like, if there's I get something, I say like, I just want to know the intent, like why you are saying this, or what made you think this. Can you clarify what you meant about this thing? So just ask for clarification. I usually ask for clarification why you are saying this. Was it intentional, or due to this, you said this thing and it hurt my feelings? So is this you meant? Just wanted to make them realize what is said should not be said that way. So I always take it as like asking for the clarification, like why. Or if there is something people who doesn't affect in your life, ignore it. But don't make that impact in your work that what you are doing. Never, never, ever. Do your thing. Yeah, that's all I will say. Never impact that in your life, but ask for clarification when there is there, and let them know that was wrong. That's awesome. What I do.
The best part, the 2 point, I would say, yeah, ignore most of the time. That is very important, but then also call them out. If it is affecting you, or if you didn't like that comment, just call them out. Yeah. I have been doing that so much, and I always get this tagline of feminist, ultra-feminist, opinionated, and I'm like, I don't care. Let's go to Becky now.
I'm the type of person that doesn't let what other people say or think about me bother me. I just don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do because it makes me happy. If somebody is of the opinion that I'm less because of my age, my color, my gender, whatever, that's their problem, not mine. I don't care. Their opinion does not affect my work. in what I do, the data I produce, the papers I write. And in the data that I produce, the papers I write, I can change their mind to see that I am not what they think I am. So I go about my day as I'm the only one around. I don't care what other people think of me based on my age, race, gender, whatever. But that's me. I've always been like that.
Becky, just to add along those lines, not intentionally, but ever unintentionally, have you ever encountered those kind of microaggression at your workplace?
My current workplace, no. Everybody at my current workplace are very professional, and on top of that, the lab that I'm in, there's no other labs around, so I'm typically in the lab by myself. The only other person I see besides my boss may be one of the other ladies that works for one of the other professors there, and we do chat, but I don't really, if I see people in the hall, we say hi, but beyond that, no.
Thank you. That is very important. Just because I said 64% of the female witness microaggression doesn't mean that we all have to face it. There are some workplaces where we do not have to face it. That's why this is very important. We should just discuss, not like if there is not, we are being aggressive and all that. And as both of these ladies said, ignore them. Nothing should impact the work you love to do. Ranju, have you faced those microaggression and how do you deal with them?
Okay, first of all, I think I agree with everyone saying that we need to ignore things. Yes, we need to ignore things and not let anything bother us unless and until we're doing something that we really like. For me, like when I came into US, I came into Ohio University, which is a very, very friendly place for international people. I think I've always mentioned this and how grateful I am for being in there. We had different organizations, different cultures where you'd celebrate everything. So I personally did not feel attacked any ways in there by any kind of Americans, whites, or whatever. However, I had like some people in my lab who are not from here, were also internationals, and again the same English thing, like, you have this good, why do I not? And I was like, dude, I grew up like this, so yeah, I don't know, right? But those things come to us most of the times. If we are all international, sometimes I think it also comes out of ignorance, because they don't really know what they're asking is probably, relates to something that's a little bit offensive to the other person. I have a friend currently, she's very naive, so she talks about things that she does not even know that affects other person. Sometimes it points out to be racist, sometimes it points out to be things like that, but she does not really know what she's talking about. So we also need to think about those people, think about their point of view, think about their ignorance, and then deal with it like that. So other than that, I've grown up, since I came to US, I've been in a very small community. I've not really faced anything like that. And when I came back in here in Cincinnati, my workplace, I've not really faced anything, but I've heard a few things. But to me, like, I have never come across something that was really demeaning, that really let me down or made something for me. I think, which is also one of the beauties of being in a culturally diverse environment, having this kind of thing is common. Also, not having this kind of thing is also very, it's not very common, but it's very heartwarming and nice. So yeah, I think I'm really grateful for that too.
Awesome. So the message from all three of you: ignorance is the bliss at some instances, right? Unless it is directly affecting you, let's ignore it. We all have reached so far by doing so.
As Ranju said, most of the time it is unintentional.
Yes.
So it's unintentional, so nothing to worry.
But with
exactly.
With the unintentional, there needs to be, they do need to be taught, so they're not ignorant.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So they don't continue to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then next time we end up giving them like, even though we are not perfect in everything, right? We just tell what we know. So when that person talks about those things that feels demeaning to the other person, other race or something, then you want to go ahead and tell her that, okay, this is not appropriate. You just have to watch what you tell and what you speak. So yeah, watch your language from next time, and then I hope they will, understand a bit. Yeah, it's also that you need to be informative. You need to have information when you are in a diverse population. It's also very important for you to know and learn about people all around. So yeah.
Yeah, Ranju, very well said. We all have our own predisposed bias. We take it, we don't take it, but we all do. We do have some sort of biasness, be it in the name of color, sex, race, everything. The only thing is, this is not personal, as I started with that one. Sometimes it comes with ignorance, sometimes it comes with, oh, I'm just saying it. But yeah, as Becky said, we need to call them out. We need to teach them. It's going to happen overnight. No, it's not going to happen overnight. I have a niece. I always tell her, don't think that you don't have to face anything like this in your generation. You always do have to. Just teach them. If you don't like it, call upon them. What I have witnessed, as I can also give you some of my thought, I'm also women in STEM. What I have witnessed is like, oh, I was just saying it to her. I was not exactly telling it to you. That I see a whole lot more. I'm like, I'm also a woman. If that implies to one woman, it implies to other one too. So I'm just calling you out on that one. So that is very informative for sure. I got it, ignore it. Very good. Teach them. All that is good. Do you all have those HR or department for women where you can go and report those cases if that ever happens? I'm sure Harvard, Texas A&M, Medpace all have. Do you have a good channel for that one?
We do. Like the thing is, like the one event I told you, that's not in my work. My workplace is awesome. It's really nice. Like thing. So this were the encounter I happened from I came to as undergrad, from undergrad to this like different part of the thing. So yes, they do have, it's called like you can directly report to your HR if something happens, or there is a place where you can like email them or let them know like something is happening. So, but the first contact is your supervisor. Just go and talk with your supervisor. So, and they are really they are really good about it. Like they take it really seriously. So, but I haven't faced anything in my workplace, like Center for Astrophysics. They like, I think it's really good place to work. So, but yeah.
Becky, do you have those kind of channel where if something happens along those lines, they can go and talk to? Even counseling does help. I'm a big advocate of mental health as well. I just did a program with this. I just had a mentee where I did the mental health and how it is affecting the teenager. Having said that, we being a professional, women professional, we have some mental thing too. We want to go and talk to some of the counselors. So do you have that one, like counseling, or if you want to go and just talk or channel? So do you have something like that at Texas A&M School of Dentistry?
I'm sure they do. They send out so many emails. I don't read a lot of them. I do know that they do have a program or forms or website or whatever, so that if I'm not experiencing it, but I see it occur to somebody else, I can anonymously report it. So I know that my place does have that. So I know that they do a lot of different things. Like with COVID, there were professors that were getting on doing Zoom meetings to do meditation. They were doing dancing and stuff just all through Zoom just to keep their mental health up. So I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have that whole come talk to us if you're having issues thing. I mean, they have everything else.
How about you, Ranju, at Medpace?
I think like Nishu talked about, I think the first thing is to talk about it to your supervisor, and he'll be the best person. You or see whoever is supervising you will be the best person to lead you forward. And I think we also had to sign up those strict regulatory forms where they said any kind of discrimination depending on sex, race, whatever is not tolerated in here. We're equal workplace, equal opportunity thing. And any kind of, when you are a woman, sexual harassment, molestation, things like that. There are also very strict rules about it. When I first joined, I had to go through all of those. And I think the first thing would be to talk about it to your supervisor, to deal with it, and then you go escalate the issues, take wherever to HR or someone who's on the exact position or level. And I think that's how they deal with it. And also about mental health and stuff on Medpace, I think one really nice thing is they have a wellness room on each floor. So if you're not feeling like, well, if you feel like you want to rest for like half an hour or so, you can just go into your wellness room, stay there for a while, take deep breaths, meditations, cleanse yourself, and then come back to work. So yeah, I think it's kind of balanced for me for now, but I do not know what things hold when you go into upper positions which are more challenging, which have more responsibilities and stuff. So, yeah, but up until now, I think it's I'm handling well and it's going pretty good.
So have you used those those wellness rooms for yourself?
Yes, I've not used too many times, but I've used like once or twice for the wellness rooms. They're just basic normal rooms. And then for lunch, we don't actually have to sit down at desks and have lunch. We just go to conference room, have like a group of friends together, go to conference room. Sometimes we go out for lunching. So there is not like any kind of strict policy where you have to work for this much of time, have your lunch in between this and this. For us, it's like it's evenly spread out. So as long as you do your work, as long as you're done with your things, I sometimes have taken 1 hour, 1.5 hour for lunch when we go out with friends. Sometimes we go on a conference room, have talk, little chat, and have our lunch. So for up until now, it's very smooth and very nice. And we have my little group has like people from 5 or 6 different countries with 5 or 6 different people from all different countries, so it's really easy to share our things, experience and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been pretty fine up until now, I would say.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, we do have that one too. Actually, in Cincinnati Children itself, we have once a month wellness thing. Even I presented, like, not, I was invited as a guest to talk about what I do outside research. So I spoke about that. Yeah, I'm with 3 organizations, and then I am a rebel in heart, so I write for newspaper at times. So yeah, that is very good because let me again, as I told, I'm a big advocate for mental health. Mental health is not a taboo. It is as important as your physical health. And we all do need that. You love your family, you love your support system, but outside those, you also need to talk sometime to flush it out. We need all that all the time, be it in any field, anywhere, male, female, kids, working, not working, we all do need that. Me time, mental time. So you will be again rejuvenated to do the things, to do the thing you love. So that is very important. I'm getting some questions. As I said, it is an interactive session. I have one more question and then I will start to take the question that I'm getting in chat box. And some of my friends are even saying that, can we ask the question? Yes, this is an interactive session. We are not going for the interview or presentation. We are just talking our experience. So obviously, let me ask one more question. And then I have one question from Mahesh Chaudhary, and then I have another question for another friend. Let me see. After I ask this question to the panelists, I will take all of your questions. Okay, so one last question from my side. The little girl who are growing up right now, who want to do the science, when they look up to you, they get inspired. What is your one suggestion for them? Let's go with Nishu.
Give 100% what you want to do. 100%. If you love science, do science and see like how you grow, right? Because when you start as a middle school, you go high school, your thing changes at point 2. But give you 100%. If something, you find something better, move on to better, right? Because what I think is like, if you love physics for a second, like you love physics in your secondary school, you love it, right? When you go to the, like if you go to the high school and say, I want to be a doctor, like it changes, it keeps on changing. So whatever you do, whatever you like, give your 100%. Just give 100%. That's the thing. Like and follow it. Just pursue, follow it. You will know what you like. So that's mine, I would say.
That's a very good suggestion, Nishu. Becky?
I would say pursue what makes you happy, not what you think society wants you to do.
Don't go with the society baggage. Got it.
Well, yeah, because I think a lot of women, even a lot of men, it's just they do what they think society wants them to do, and then they get stuck in this rut and they're not happy.
Yes.
But if they were to do what made them happy, they'd be a lot happier.
Mm-hmm.
So pursue what makes you happy.
Amazing. Yes. Do what you love to do. Ranju?
Yeah, I resonate with Becky and Nishu. I would say pursue what makes you happy and also love what you do. Of course, we tend to complain sometimes. Of course, we tend to be out of balance. Of course, we tend to be out of track. But don't let that thing distract you. Yes, let it consume you for a while and then just stand up and go ahead. Do whatever makes you happy. You can go have a very nice meal or paint or do anything you want and then go back, start again. Do not give up, and also love what you do, so that will really take you very far in life.
Amazing. Give your 100%, pursue what you love to do, and love what you do. And as Ranju said, paint. C is a very good painter. I think Ajit Shah sir was here a while ago. She does do a little bit of Mithila painting too. She gifted me one. She is a good painter. So I have all Joe's question. Anybody on the Zoom link or even on the Facebook, if you have some question, you can drop them down. And then I have one over here. Let me see that. Yeah, it is from Mahesh Chaudhary. Those kids born in Nepal and migrated to USA, they know multiple skill and languages. But those raised in the United States knows limited skill or languages. So how do you motivate your kids for multiple skill or language learning here? Who wanna go ahead with that one? And please feel free to ask all those questions.
I don't know if Ranju or Nishu have kids. I do. And I completely agree. Americans are raised to not really learn anything. I mean, yeah, we're raised that they're all pushed to go to college, but it's, go learn a second language, but it's not instilled in them when they're born or little. Like when you guys are raised, you probably are learning your mother tongue as well as English and other tongues that are in your community. American kids do not, unless they have parents that immigrated here from a different country. So their parents know the mother tongue and they know English, so the kids are raised to learn both. But down the line, that mother tongue gets lost, because I know my great grandparents immigrated from here to here, but the language they spoke wasn't passed down, so I don't know it from the several countries that they came from. So what I try to do with my kids is, I know when they were in, I think it was elementary school, maybe middle school, one of the community colleges here offered classes for primary school students. And I put them in to learn Spanish, just because, well, we have a lot of Hispanics in the area and Spanish is spoken a lot here in Texas. So it should be a second language for kids growing up here, but it's not. So I know that's what I try to incorporate with them. I learned Spanish, but I didn't have people to actually interact with, so I lost a lot of that. So my son is now currently in high school and he's learning Spanish, so I try to speak it with him here at the house. But on top of that, with like skills and everything, yeah, we try to get them out, and even with the girls, Dad has them working on the cars. They know how to work on their cars because, well, you can't always trust mechanics. The mechanics will always bend you over here in the US, especially women, because women don't know anything about cars. Whereas if the girls know, they can go and go, yeah, I think you're full of crap, I'm not paying that. But it's just, some of those skills are deteriorating because kids are being pushed to college, they're not being pushed to trade school to do that. So my husband and I, we try to teach them to do that stuff on their own too, so that they know how to do it too. I don't know what a lot of other families here do. I'm not a traditional type parent. It's just, I love culture. I love people that are different than me. So I try to teach my kids the same. I know what I was telling Namrata before, one thing I was wanting to do for Thanksgiving is not do the traditional, because we don't like turkey, but do dinners that celebrate our friendship with people from different countries and different backgrounds. So it's just incorporating my friends' culture into my life. And my kids do that too with their friends. So I think it's just being open to people that are different than you, embracing that and welcoming that will help kids and potentially push kids to want to learn about other people's culture and language. But that's me. I'm a bit different, so I can't speak for other native-born Americans.
You already have a slice of Nepal from me. So now after this webinar, I think you're gonna learn Maithili and Nepali both, right?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I will try to. I mean, I won't have the accent, but
Yeah, I'll teach you. We'll get there. Do you want to add to that one, Nishu?
Yeah, I think like Becky has already like said most of the part. So for my, like I have a kid, I talk Maithili in Nepali, like in home. So he's just a toddler right now. And we have friends that speak Nepali and Hindi that are talking, and we know he's going to learn English on his own. Like he's in United, so he will learn it, right? So right now he's 23 and he knows words from 4 languages. That is good. And we are thinking like, and of course I love like kids learn more language. So maybe when he'll grow up, we'll go to a different language like Spanish or something from school, like school. And Becky brought really good thing like introducing culture in the family. So we always try to, whenever there's a festival or something, either it's like our festival or like a Thanksgiving or something, we try to introduce everything so he knows like a different culture too. But this doesn't seem like we have, like in United States, we have so many schools for so many languages where we can get help. We have so many skills. You can be like, as in a school too, you can be a part of so many skills, right? Like if you're like in sports or music or anything, you can approach that, right? So beside education, there are like sports, like a painting or like art or thing where you can pursue your studies as well. So never limited just to do your bachelor in just in like science or something. Like there are so many opinions where you can be good at, and you can always try to be a part of it. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Because in our family, like in back home in Nepal, we were just like study. You have to study.
But based off what you said too, if the kids don't actually try different things, they're never going to know what they're good at. So try everything and find what you're good at.
Yes, I totally agree. Yes.
Nishu, sorry, Ranju, you do not have kids, I know, but you want to add something to that one in future?
I really agree with Nishu in think that when we were kids and growing up, only one thing we had to do was study. No doing this, no doing that. You like dance? No, you cannot. Just study. You know, there are only a very few parents who really supported their kids with other things when they knew that their kids' education was, all in all, I'd like to say that we were just raised up to study. But then I think we discovered all these things on our own. But in US, there's so many things, there's so many platforms, and kids born in here have a huge coverage. They have a huge lot of things to explore than what we did. I think we were, of course, introduced to, I think we were raised in, I don't know, by
obsolete era.
But I think, yeah, we do have a lot more opportunities here, and it depends, I think, on parents, how you treat your kids, so some people I've seen people like, okay, my son or my daughter speaks English, they're really nice. Of course, they're in the United States, they'll speak English. What's the big deal with that, right? So yeah, I think you should really come out of those thoughts. You should rather teach them your own language, some other language, teach them to be welcoming of other cultures and everything, whatever English and everything, they'll learn it on their own. So you don't really have to teach them. So I think, yeah, I really agree with Nishu and Becky in, promoting cultural, being welcoming and exposing them to all the things that they have and letting them figure out what they can do the best for them.
Thank you. That's actually a great answer. I know you all three are not from the ANTA community. So a little bit of background on ANTA. ANTA is working like primarily to promote the culture of southern Nepal. So it is the southern part, the plain area. But after like, not only that one, it is even over there, we need to be culturally diverse. And Aparajita madam had made sure that we talk to every section of Nepal. So even last time when we did our AGM, it was from all over the Nepal. And Aparajita ma'am, along with our advisor, Dr. Mridula Gupta, she recently hosted, like recently last year, for the languages for kids. So even if you have some community platform, go and utilize them. They will teach you languages and everything. So we always have resources. We just need to utilize it. I hope that answered Mr. Chaudhary's question. Another question we have. So if you want, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, but I have another question from Dr. Tonia Raut. Is it important for a woman to pursue science if she wants to stand or take a leadership in a male-dominated society? All three of you can put in your thoughts.
I'm going to say no,
No.
not necessarily. There are a lot of business women that are up high in the ranks. I think it's just more about being passionate about what you love. And if you're passionate about what you love, you're going to pursue it and you're going to be good at it and you'll rise the ranks. And men will see you as a leader.
Nishu, Ranju, you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's not only science that women have to go through. I think it's anything that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you can do better. It could be anything that you're good with. I think it's something that you should pursue. And talking about male dominated jobs, mostly in technology, engineering, and things like that, of course, there are women who are much, much, much more better than men. They're in very good position as men. So yeah, I think it entirely depends on you, what your mind goes through. Some people have very good analytical mind. Some people have very good artistic mind. Some people have very good, thoughtful mind. And it depends on how you organize your mind and which part of mind is more dominant. I think if you pursue that, rather than being stigmatized by one thing that I have to do this, I think that will be better than, doing what societal norms or society expects you to do.
I could tell you off of Ranju's comment, my husband is in technology.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a boss, and he doesn't actually get a lot of applications from women. He just doesn't get them. He has had a few, but the ones that come through, he said that for the position he's looking for, they're more like lower level. They're just starting out, so they don't fit the position he's looking at. But he goes, I totally hire a woman if she came in and she had the skill set I needed. Totally. He's worked for women in technology before. And I think he's had 3 or 4 women bosses and has had no issues with any of them. He's liked all of them. So it's just, there are women in technology. It's just, there aren't many. And the ones that are there are passionate about technology. They have that I don't have that mind. They have that mind, that they have that curiosity, that desire. So it's just, they are there. It's just, I don't think that is something we push on our little girls is, oh, that's technology. No, that's guys do that. No, it's if your little girl is passionate about computers or any of that, push her to it. Give her the opportunity to fill those curiosity. And maybe she'll be that, I can't cuss, so that Namrata knows what I'm going to say, that bad woman at the top that's kicking butt and taking names. It's just, but I think that comes back down to parents and society. It's, oh, well, push them. If that's where their curiosity is, don't hold them back. Push them, feed them. Feed that curiosity so they keep asking questions.
Sometimes they also, I think, get, covered up by the imposter syndrome. In a male-dominated society, in a male-dominated job, would I be sufficient enough? I think sometimes if your kid is really good at science and technology, your daughter is really good at that, but she feels like, I might not be good enough for that. I think she still needs a little push from people, from parents, so that she can pursue her passion. So it also goes the other way around. So I think we should still, be acceptive, or be help them to discover what they want. But also, if if they feel like they're not sufficient for that thing, I think we should also give them a push so that they can pursue that.
I agree. I think that's what a lot of little girls, I think, yeah, a lot of little girls feel that they're just not good enough. And I know for me, I was always like that. And it's just because I had a hard time understanding math and physics. So Nishu, you're
Yeah,
like got
yeah.
it because physics, yeah. But I always had issues with that. I'm a very visual person. Physics is not visual for me. I can't visualize acceleration. Sorry, my brain just doesn't work like that. But so because other kids in my class just always got it, I always thought, well, I'm just not smart enough. I can't do it. Where in reality is my brain just doesn't use that. My brain just works differently for physics and stuff. So if I go for something I'm good at, then I'll excel. If I had to pursue physics, I totally probably would not be very successful.
Nishu, your thought on that one?
Like, I would
Is
say
it only STEM that female need
no,
to
that
go
is
for?
totally no. People in admin, people no. That is 100% no. That's why I didn't wanted to add more on that, but because Becky and Ranju has already pointed out all the things, like most of the thing. So no, you can excel in any field. It doesn't have to be just the STEM. And there are a lot of examples as well, right? Like I can just give an example of my mother-in-law. She is a PhD in liberal arts, and she's working she's working for really she's in the, how can I forget the name?
That's okay.
She's working in the government, and she's doing a lot of changes other people over there. So no, that is my straight answer was like, no, you don't have to be in the STEM, and you can excel in everywhere you can go. So
Okay, she said, thank you, all well said, love that. Okay, I have another question from Sukhbir, and that is for Ranju. Such a great session. Thank you, Sukhbir, and thank you for joining from Canada. Question for Ranju. What advice would you give to PhDs wanting to transition to industry? How was the transition process for you?
Okay, so the transition process, and I think the first thing is you need to brainstorm yourself, whether you want to be in academia or industry. For me, like from the first day I joined my PhD, I was like, no, this is the end, will be my formal, my formal education will end when I finish my PhD, and then I'm going to, an industry. But also thinking that being international, being in US, you have visa problems, you have different issues. We also have to walk through that apart from our career. So if you want to go from academia to industry, I think the first thing I would say, you just need to assemble some of the qualities that is needed in industry, like something that you're really good at. For me, it was assays. I really worked with a lot of assays, immunoassays. So that really helped me get into this position. But for you, let's say you have really good expertise on mass spec, so you can be a mass spec scientist, you can be a mass spec person in industry. So I would say just focus on one thing that will really help you excel in industry, and that is really needed in industry. Apart from that, leadership roles is really important. If you have, any kind of organization that you can get involved, do some kind of community work, that will also be very important when they will interview you and hire you later on. For me, I was a very active member in the International Student Union. I was also working in Nepalese Student Association. So that really helped me. That also in this country, you also have to be very accepting of diversity and inclusion. So make sure that you are also touching everything with diversity and inclusion. And I think one of the most important thing other than that is just coming forward, being straight up to yourself, letting yourself know what you want. The first thing is what you want, and then once you prepare your mind, writing CVs, resume, cover letter, all those normal things that we have to do for every kind of job. So I think it's preparing yourself, building up your skills, and building up really good skills that are really needed in industry. And once you go into industry, you will anyways learn it, and it's just a process of going and moving forward from there. So yeah, I would just say focus on something that you really want to work on. You might change some fields, but the basic thing remains the same. For me, it was going from a hardcore protein work to now completely different clinical chemistry. But the essence of what I do lies in the amino acids. So that's the basic thing that I'm doing. Yeah. So just choose one thing, and then whatever you were doing in your PhD, and then go with that. That will really help. I hope that answers your question.
It did, Sukhbir, or you have something to add on?
No, it did answer. Thank you so much for answering. And I just want to say it's been a great session, like listening to all of you and the inputs. And thank you, Namrata, for organizing and moderating the session.
Thank you, Sukhbir. Okay, so another question is, when we say we come from a male-dominated society, this is from our CC today's bundle, why do not we take a step back and admit saying we all are mostly grown in a family largely dominated by fathers and brothers? A society just constitutes of such families mostly. Can I just add a little thing on this one? I like this question. Yeah, we all do agree, be it in the United States, be it in Nepal or India or any part of the country we are talking about, even in EU. So yeah, brothers and fathers. I won't even give credit to brothers. When they start their family is on their own. Fathers, yeah, we are dominated by fathers. But at the same time, we have where we are, as Nishu said, as Becky said, as Ranju said, we have got that support. And because of their support, we are also questioning them. I have told so many times when my bua said, oh, you are doing this, I'm like, why is the rule different for mom and why is it different for 3 girls that we are here right now? So it starts within you. We are doing that. If we were not doing that, we won't be here. So that is my 0.0005% take on that one. Now panelists can say. Who want to go first? Nishu?
So I think,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Becky.
I think on that, I think a big part of that, at least here in the United States, I can't speak for other countries, to where it's a father dominated family, is mainly because it comes from the way they were raised. And again, this is coming from generations and generations and generations back. If you look back hundreds of years, you're going to see that women stay at home, women took care of the house, women took care of the kids. Men went out, did the fighting, did the hunting, and did the work to pay for whatever they needed. Slowly, society is changing. And in my household, well, okay, so I'll go back. So my dad was raised with that thought process was the man supports the family, the wife raises the kids. The man doesn't help with the female stuff around the house. That's how he was raised. So I can't knock him for that because that's how his mother raised him. And she was raised like that because that's how her parents raised her. In my house now, and I know with my older sister, I can't speak for my brothers and my little sister because their kids are still toddlers. They're still under 10. So I don't know how they're raising their kids. But in this house, my son does chores. All 3 of my kids did chores. I have 2 girls and 1 little boy. And none of them like doing chores. They all prefer to be lazy. But that, to me, that's just a typical kid. The kids want to come home. The kids want to do what kids want to do. They don't want to help around the house. But we try to teach them that this house, as my husband puts it, is this relationship is 50% him, 50% me. This house is our house, so that while the sink is full of dishes, it's not my job. It's his job and my job. And the kids help us out while we're out working all day. It takes us an hour to drive to work. We're at work 9 hours, an hour to drive home. So it helps when the kids help with the little things around the house. And we tell them that. It helps us out. So yeah, when they're gone and they grow up and they get out of the house, it's going to be on us. But then again, we're not going to have kids trashing the house. that I don't know how the kids are in Nepal, but the kids here in America, at least my kids and all the kids that I grew up with, like to trash the house.
Yes, we do that too.
So we try to teach, and I also teach my kids, I'm not going to be around forever. You have to learn to do this stuff on your own. You may not get married, so you have to know how to do this stuff on your own. Whether you're my son or my girls, you have to know how to do it, because mom is not always going to be here to do it for you. I had them doing laundry at the age of 5. Okay, I mean, that's fine. I'll take that. Like I said, I'm not a traditional parent. I don't helicopter my kids. I know that I'm not always going to be here. I may not be here tomorrow. So they need to know how to do this stuff on their own, because I'm not going to be here to ask. And that's how my mindset has always been. Now with that, and I think that comes from the fact that my dad pushed me to be who I am. So yes, he raised me to clean around the house, but he also raised me to help know how to work on a car, know how to do man things, because I may not always have a man to do it for me. So he makes me self-sufficient. So that's what I'm trying to do with my kids. Yeah, I have to teach my son how to cook. He knows how to cook. Does he want to cook? No. But it's necessities for each person. If you're living on your own, you need to know how to do this stuff. You cannot rely on the opposite sex or your partner to do it for you. And that's how my dad taught me, and that's how I'm raising my kids. So I think with the male-dominated family, I think that's for those people who don't have supportive parents, who don't have parents that realize that you may be on your own forever. So I don't think that they see reality, what could be. I think they see what they want to see, so they don't push for that independence. At least I think. I don't know. What do you ladies think?
Ranju and
Well
Nishu?
said. No, that's really well said. Well said. And I think me also growing, like I had like 3 sisters and 1 brother. So it's, again, I will not say it's the male dominated, but like dad was the one who earned and then mom was taking. So any decision was in between them, like mutual decision, and then we learned everything. So saying as a laundry, me and my brother, like who was older than me and younger than other sister, we'll like, everyone has to do their own laundry. Like mom was saying, no, if you're like, you know, in Nepal, like if you're just one son, they will say, oh my God, it's just like you have 4 sisters, 1 son. But that was not my parents. No, if everyone is drawing laundry, you have to do your own laundry. You have to clean your own plate after the dinner and take care of your everything. And that was really good. And my brother used to complain, like my friend house, like they don't do anything, but you're making me do this. Yes. So I think my parents were really liberal, and I'm really proud of that. That's how where I am right now. So I won't call a male dominated. It's just like a equally responsible, like both families were equally responsible. In my case, I don't know, like in my case, I was really lucky. I consider myself really lucky.
No, I can see where you're coming from, because my daughter has, one of her best friends is Hispanic, and her dad does not allow her to do a lot of stuff. She's 23 and she's the only daughter, and she is like very limited in what she's allowed to do. She got a partial scholarship to Texas A&M in College Station down South Texas. Her parents wouldn't let her go because she was too far from home. Yeah, she's going to be a doctor. So, I mean, she's pursuing what she wants. She's just doing it at college here at home. But it makes me wonder what all these kids could be if their parents would support them more and not hold them back.
Ranju?
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes parents can be really overprotective, and I think they don't realize their children's potential on one hand. So I think it's also like when you're being overprotective with your children's, you're limiting something on their own. but also they're really concerned about the crime rates and everything increasing. So we stand on a very fine edge here. I would say, like, from a very young age, I left my house when I was 14, and I went up and stayed outside and worked. So for me, it was different case. But for my sister, my parents are overprotective of her. I don't know why. It's the same thing. And my dad, like, he never really discriminated between me and my sister. I have a younger brother. He's very young. He's only like late teens. But in terms of household chores and things like, of course my mom did a lot more than my dad does, because as a grown up in a male dominated, or whatever you might call it, we are still a little bit, men are over females everywhere. So yeah, my dad would do a lot of work, make money into the house. My mom would do things inside the house. We were raised up learning how to do everything in the house, all the household chores. My brother, I try to teach him the same thing, but it's my dad who does all his stuff. I kind of don't like that, but my sister, we would do our own laundry since we're kids. He also does sometimes, but my mom does not do anything. It's my dad who does for him. So sometimes I feel like it's my dad's does his own things. My mother never does my dad's laundry or anything like that, which is not very common back home. Usually women are expected to do all the household chores, but it's different. And I think they're also, I think it's also a sort of basic survival skill that every parent should teach their kids. If you're overprotective, if you don't want your kids to do work, like Becky mentioned, like, see, they would not allow her to do a lot of household chores and stuff. What happens when she grows up? Someday she has to do it all on her own. She has to learn how to cook, how to eat. These are all basic things. And I think since we grow up, these are the things that should be taught to everyone, irrespective of whether they're male or female or this or that. I think there are basic things that everyone needs to learn, and it's the parents' responsibility to teach them how to do that. So yeah,
I like all three answers. It's just like amazing. That's the basic thing that at least I was raised with, because I do not have a brother in a family, as you all know. So I never was raised with that mindset. And what I would say, we are calling it out. That's why we are having this discussion. It's not going to change overnight, as I told you. And we three or we four are not going to change the world just right now. Not going to happen. It should start from the home. For example, stop passing all those gender jokes. Stop passing on those things when female is driving. Oh, you're going to drive. For sure, we're going to get into the accident. Or you're going to cut that. Can you even hold the axe? So those kind of jokes, stop passing all those kind of jokes. You can start it from the home. Let them do what they want to do. If your little girl come up to you and say that I want to do it, okay, how can I help? Provide those statements, and that will support them. That will help them to do what they want to do. We are trying to do that. As I said, let's have this discussion at the dinner table. Let's not stop talking. Keep the discussion up. Another question I have from Tauleshwar Prasad Chaudhary. Again, he's our CC member and Joint General Secretary. In countryside of Nepal and India, there are still so many early college girls get pressurized by their parents and relatives to get married with the other early college boy. At this situation, both boys and girls are innocent and don't know each other, but they are good kids and they want to follow their college instead of involved in marriage life. What you all women leader suggest to those kids and parents to deal with this kind of situation? So early marriage.
If you're
What-
not going to say
what-
no.
What is early marriage in Nepal,
Oh.
in India? What age?
Technically, it should be 18
Should be?
for
but-
girls.
Okay.
But it is changing. I'm not sure if it is 21 reached or not. Is it 21 yet? I don't know. They were working on it, but I'm not sure about that yet.
I think
So it is 21 now. Okay. So Aditya is from India. So he is telling me the age from India. So Sukhveer said 21 is in India. In Nepal, I don't know if they are still in 18 or 21, but that's the tentative age, like legal age for
girls 18, for boys it's 21, I guess, in Nepal too.
yeah.
And-
So that is the age, and they're still young, even
These
from
are
the biology.
These are arranged marriages, right?
Mostly.
Okay. Okay, because I don't come across many here in the United States. I mean, we've talked about it with my daughter, how we just need to arrange a marriage for her because she likes to spend money like no other. So she needs a man who can support her spending habits. But it's just a teaser. But I'm not very familiar with the whole arranged marriage, the ages and all that. Okay. So they're young, but here in the US they'd be considered adults. They'd be in college. I know here in the US there are kids that get married young at the age of 18. My parents were married. My mom was married at the age of 17 to my dad. He's 4 years older than her, and they're still together. They don't get along, but they're still together. I'm just trying to think because, like, with my girls, if they were to get married, I'd support them. But at the same time, I'd be like, how's that going to affect what you want to do, what you want to pursue? Because sometimes when you get married, your priorities change. So it would be, if it's an arranged marriage and they're okay with it, can they postpone it until they're done pursuing their college studies? Is that allowed?
I think the thing with Nepal and India is once you get married, I'm talking from a female point of view here. Once you get married, you are so consumed with your household chores and with your in-laws and stuff that you barely have time for yourself, unless and until it's a very, very understanding family. Even
Okay.
though it is, you still have to get occupied with the household chores, taking care of them. You barely have time for yourself. And after a year or two, you're expected to have baby. So where do you stand? I don't see, unless and until you're very focused, very motivated, no, I have to do this, you might end up doing something for yourself. But most of the cases I've seen, like once you're married, you're flat right there. Have a kid. Your biggest achievement would be your kids and family. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Namrata and Nishu, but yeah. That's
That is 200%. I resonate with that one. Nishu, you want to add?
It's not completely flat, but like it becomes a little bit delay in Nepal. I would say it's delay. And then again, like kid, they take your time, because that happened with my sisters as well. They were like one was doing like masters and the first sister, like she got married when she was doing her bachelor, and she got married. And one after another, like she couldn't complete her bachelor on time. It was delayed. I have seen the example. So that's when my dad said, like, no, we should like take up, like, unless my daughter has done masters, I'm not going to get them married. And that worked out really well. So of course I'll say yes, delayed. But there are also people like they still keep on working on their thing, right? So like if you're married, your life doesn't it's not stop. It is delayed, but that doesn't happen to all, like still people, if still the girls that want to study, they keep on doing that. Yeah, family will support. Yes, of course you need a family support, but it's you who doesn't have to keep up, right? It's on you. Like if you take no, I have to get it done, you have to get it done. And then comes the family support. If you're not capable of doing, even the family pushes you, I think you cannot go high, right? What I'm trying to say is like your will and plus family support. That is more important. And regarding the, I just want to know, let Becky know, like when you get married in Nepal means like, if you're not financially stable, it's like parents going to take care of everything, right? In the United States, if you're going to get married, at least you are financially stable. That's why you are getting married in 21 or 22.
Okay.
But in Nepal, you are not financially stable. It all depends on the family. Like it's all the cost, everything goes on the family.
Okay.
Parents. So that is the point. If you're not financially stable, at least you should say, no, I don't want to. At least let me be family stable. Let me be financially stable. Then I will think about marriage, not at the price of my parents' money or something else. So I will just ask people to just decline it.
Yeah, I think that would be the better option if they give them an option. But like you said, unless and until either you're really focused and you know what you want to do in your life, that is how you can keep moving forward. These days, there are many women who, after marriage, after kids, have like small business and they're really successful with that business. Either you could pursue it on that way if your family is supportive. I've also seen people who have their bachelor's degree, just staying in home, doing nothing, complaining about their life every single time because there is no way they can come out of that situation, or they could sink in that situation. So they are just there complaining every day. But I think it's also how, separation is very stigmatized back home. If you are separated from a man, you are not a woman. You're completely a different alien out from somewhere. So I think some things, there are really these basic grounds that needs to be taught. This morning I was listening to a women activist in Nepal. She was explaining so well how when a 60-year-old man gets divorced and marries a girl of 30, people pity on him, like, okay, he was really alone, he got married to a girl, now he will be happy, still feed him and stuff like that. But the same thing, when a 60-year-old woman marries a 30-year-old guy, what happens? Can you even imagine that? So yeah, there was a very good conversation this morning I was listening to, and I was very impressed with that. So there are these little things that really affect. And yeah,
I hope that answered the question. And I think, yes, family support does matter. And I would say the suggestion to those parents and to those kids would be talk to them. Talk to them. Discussion and dialogue always helps. That is your best friend if you want to move forward. I have one question from our CTO, Ruby Dev. She said, we all have elder people in our house and they have a different mindset than ours. And it is really difficult to change their mindset now at this age. Agreed. How can we handle a situation where we know that the things that they are doing or asking is biased, but we also know that even if we fight hard, we are not going to change their mind? How do you handle those kind of situations?
I
this
think
is a
we
very
even have that.
tricky
We
question.
have that here in the United States as well. I mean,
Yes.
granted, a lot of Americans here don't have the extended families living with us unless you are an immigrant from a different country and your family comes with you. There are families in my neighborhood, particularly some that live behind me and near me, that have their extended families living with them. But with that said, my parents have their mindset. I can't change them. I tell them what I'm going to do and they can either support me or not. I don't know how that would roll in Nepal. I don't know, but I know America is a bit different. But yes, the older generation, they're very stubborn.
They are.
Yeah.
Some of them are.
Yes.
In any part of the world, I would say, not only in Nepal or United States, in any part of the world, we call it generation gap or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going for the age shaming or something like that, but they do have their mindset.
They do. I think a big part of that is, again, it's the generation, it's the way they were raised, the way that they were taught to be raised, the way that they were taught the world should be, the family should be. But we evolve. So they're seeing evolution in front of them and they don't like it and they don't want to accept it.
You guys are, sorry, Nishu and Ranju, you want to add something to that one?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to change their mind because it's years, they've been raised up with the same thing, following those things over and over. So they don't really want to give up their beliefs and everything. I think for us, bridging that gap between the older generation and how we're raising our, next generation, I think we ourselves should be woke in things that we need to, follow, and then things we need to stop. So for example, I would really like to say here, menstruation is a very big taboo in Nepal. So when we were raised, we're not allowed to go into the kitchen, we're not allowed to go into temples and stuff like that. Older generations still have those beliefs. Me coming from them, I still hesitate going to temple when I'm on my periods, which I should not be doing. I know that. And
I always call you up on that.
Yes.
I always call you up on that.
So this is how I think we as this breathing generation should work on how we can narrow that breeze in between that older gap and the new generation coming up. I think we should be open. We cannot change them. Yes, we should ignore some things that they say. Some things sometimes when I just tweak things a little bit and do things that I like, that I feel is good, that I feel is not discriminating or things like that. Sometimes it can really be discriminative also. So I think it's all onto you and how you want to take things together, how you feel like, things should be, and how open your mind is. I think at the end of the day, it's all about how open your mind is and how you can pursue that thing forward. So all the taboos and everything, yes, of course, there are everywhere in the world.
Okay, so Nisha, do you want to add something?
I think Ranju and Becky, like, they covered everything. I'll just want to add one thing. I always try to work in between your generation and that. I like just try to be in between to make them happy. Also, not like losing entire yourself. Try to convince it or think about something that is going to work both for you. So yeah, of course, it is hard though. But you'll always find a way. There is a way.
Okay, so I think we are up by 3 minutes. Do you guys have any other question, or girls have any other question you want to add on? If not, we have to conclude this program too, because these three have taken out from the heavy schedule. So yeah, Aditya, tell me, what is your question?
So it was an amazing talk. I really loved it. And this is Aditya. And I actually had 4 questions, but since we're like over time already, so I'll just like reduce it to 2, maybe one smaller one and one kind of controversial one actually. So the first one is that I was raised in a women-dominated family, like for 2 generations, like even my grandmom and then even my own household. So like my own family where my mom and dad and my sister are there. So I saw that there is one difference in both of those setups. The first, where my grandmother and my grandfather raised their kids, there was my grandfather who was earning money and not my grandmother. And in my family, like if I look at my parents, both of them are earning. And sometimes I hear that, oh, in families such as the mine, where it's the woman who is dominating, or it's like equal dominance of both the counterparts, it's generally because they are earning. And wherever there is a family where there is a disparity, it's generally because the male is earning. So those families will always have a male dominance. So do you guys agree with that, and like what your thoughts are about it? And the second question that I have is that, like, women in STEM as a community, does that community acknowledge those people who are not born as women, or like female is not the assigned sex to them and are transitioning? I mean to say trans women and like cross genders, what about them? Like, how are they being accepted into this women in STEM, the whole umbrella of the community?
Amazing question, Aditya. Yes, panelist.
I think that there are some trans women that are still in STEM. There are some that are engineers. They work for Lockheed. So they're still there. I don't know if they consider themselves a woman in STEM or not. I don't know. But they're still in STEM stuff. With your other question, I think some of the mindset where you have the man earning the money and the woman not, where you think that it's the man dominated family environment, I think that might just come down to perception. Because I think if a female were the one earning the money, then people would think that it is a female dominated family because she's the breadwinner. I think part of that is because, well, if you're making the money, then you make the decisions for the family. However, I know there are some families here where the woman makes the money and it's still a husband and a wife make the decision together. Because I know my husband always told me if I made enough money, he'd quit his job. I could be the breadwinner, but it would still be an us thing. This is still our family. this is 50% him, 50% me, so we make decisions together. I know that there are families out there to where only one part of the relationship makes the decisions, and maybe it comes from that, well, the man's making the money, so it's his decision because he's the one supporting us, he's the one putting food on the table. I don't know, because when I grew up, while yes, my dad was where he doesn't do the female stuff, my mom was also an earner too. She was an RN, so I don't know what to do. I was in my own world when I was little, so when decisions were made, I don't know who made them in my house. But right now, decisions in my house are made between me and my husband. I don't know what you ladies think on that.
Yes, please. I want to know this too. Ranju and Nishu.
This was the tough one, though. So tough one in a sense, it depends on the family to family you're making a decision, right? So every family is different. For my family, my dad used to earn money, but the decision has to be both used to talk with each other. And then, but in some places, my dad said like he was working like had higher priority, and in some places my mom has a hybrid, but they always used to discuss it, right? So it depends on the family. So that's why I say like it's really hard to just rule by one line saying, oh, this is right or this is wrong. So I don't have an actual answer for this one. It depends on the family background. And of course, it should not be on who earns the money has to make the decision. That is totally wrong, for sure. And regarding the second question, if you like to go in any field, it should be out of gender. If you're female or male, if you're whatever, it should be out of the gender, right? It is what you want to pursue as an individual. So that's all I want to add over here.
Yeah, no, I agree with Nishu that irrespective of gender, it should be your will on what you want to work with, your will on how you want to pursue that, and your will on how you want to go ahead with those things. Nothing should stop you. Being a male should not stop you from doing girly things, and being a female should not stop you from doing things in technology and engineering or whatever is supposed to be male dominant. So a male can be a very good makeup artist. I've seen so many, while a female can be a very good, perfect engineer or technologist or something like that. So it can go either way. It should not be gender biased. Work should be what you should enjoy doing yourself. And when it comes to your family, I think it depends on what you consider a male or a female dominated family. I think if you're earning something, does not have to be a male. If male earns, does not have to be male dominated, because a woman is equally responsible for making that family. And contrary to that, if a woman earns, it's not supposed to be like a women dominated family. A male also has equal say in that. So I believe for me, like, even though my dad earned, my mom had equal say on every single thing. Even though me, when I was young, I knew everything, all the finances, everything, I had equal say in decisions. So I think it entirely depends on what you want, how you're raised, and what your philosophy or what your thinking is.
Okay, so yes, science should be devoid of any gender-based, and we all should work together to make up the decision, be it in family, be it in any organization or something like that. Okay, so I think Dinesh has one question for Becky. Yeah, go ahead, Dinesh, you can ask her. And then that should be the last question. Yeah, I know you all have to rush, so that will be the last question. Yes, Dinesh, go ahead.
Thank you, Namrata. So my question here is that we have seen like countries like Nepal, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, UK, New Zealand, Germany, most of the countries in the world, they have produced female top ladies on the executive government. But why we don't see, or when can we see US lady being their president of the United States of America?
We have Kamala Harris soon, Becky.
Well, without being too political.
Yeah, please, let's keep it that way. ANTA is not political yet.
No. there's a lot more to the US politics than what most of the people see, what's going on. So we have had plenty of female candidates for president that run for president. Like for instance, last one we had Tulsi. She was a really good candidate on the Democratic ticket. However, for some reason, she didn't get it, although I know a lot of people really liked her. I think it just, because I think there's more politics within each of the parties that put candidates out for the US president than people realize. And it's coming. It's just a matter of the right, I want to say the right woman, not really, because we have had plenty of other women in the past where I've heard plenty of citizens say, if she runs, I'm voting for her, regardless of the fact that she's a woman. They really liked her, which will happen to be a president's wife, one of the first ladies. There are a lot of first ladies that in the past that people are like, I really wish she would run because I absolutely love her and she'd be a great president. However, they don't run. I don't know if it's because that's just not what they want. I don't know. I don't know how politics are in all the other countries, but I know here they're pretty messy. So I don't know if a lot of the women are like, I just don't want to get my hands dirty in that or what. So hopefully soon, but I think she's gonna have to be very special.
Yes.
Or very, very special. She can't be just another candidate on the stage. She's gonna have to be very special. So hopefully with the way parents are raising their kids, we'll have her soon. But
Okay. Thank you, Becky. Yeah, soon. As we are having our discussion on, soon we will have that one. Okay, so it was an amazing session. As I said, I'm already inspired by you three. Let me tell you one thing. Nishu is my school friend. I started undergrad with Ranju in TC, and me and Becky, we survived grad school together. So they have been my inspiration. They keep me grounded, as I told you. And I have my breakdown moment, and I make sure I call them and cry with them. So yeah, they are my support system.
we all have them.
Yeah.
We all have them.
Yep. So my take home message from this one is, or anybody who is listening to us via Zoom link or from Facebook, let's have the discussion on Women's Day is every single day, 365 days. We're gonna do this. Let's keep this discussion on. Dinner table, park, anywhere you go. Call out if you don't like something. And let's keep the discussion on. I sincerely appreciate all of you taking this time and coming over here for ANTA platform. And as I said, if you like our work, think about getting the membership of ANTA. You'd love them. We love to do community work. And you can, as I send you all the link, you can go and see how ANTA has been so involved in doing stuff back in Nepal and culturally being sound over here in United States too. With that, I would like to invite our General Secretary, Dheeraj Da, and then our President, Mrs. Jha ma'am, to conclude the program. From my side, thank you so much, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Namrata. Well, it's really a great, webinar that we are seeing so emerging, and then so, I mean, I see only those doctors, ladies here, but yeah, I'm not doctor by the way, but yeah, I see the doctor's face here, Well, thank you so much, Dr. Namrata, for arranging this webinar and then, handling this webinar so successfully. I really got impressed with your, moderation. That's great. I would like to thank our panelists, Dr. Nishu, Karna, Dr. Revika Hornung, and Dr. Ranju Pokhrel for your time, and then giving us some insights on Women's International Day. With that said, I would like to go with our president, Mrs. Aprita Jhaji.
Thank you, Dheeraji. What a fantastic session it was. Growing up in a male-dominated house, we were 3 sisters and 1 brother. My father used to take most of the major decisions. My mom was classically trained singer, but she never could reach to stage. So coming from that family to United States, where I had 3 daughters, and I can tell you that I'm trying to, bridge those gaps which I had growing up, in my family, where, my 3 daughters all were in STEM. The first one, who is in University of Chicago, started with math major, then she switched to statistics. And now she informed us that, Mom, it's getting overwhelming for me. In the COVID times, I want to take anthropology. And I said, do you like it? And she said, I love it. I'm kind of, acing it. So yes, so she is now in a different field. The number 2 daughter, who is a sophomore in high school, she wanted to become astrophysicist. She wrote a book for the kids. And now she told me that, it's like very few girls in her school, and she would like to be a lawyer, and, very active in Model UN. And third one, who is still very much passionate about STEM, loves to do coding and all, and see how it goes. So I'm very supportive. My husband, in fact, I can tell you, all those men who have joined the Zoom call, and all those, people who are behind you all, I mean, it will take another 3-hour session to, thank them. They have also played a pivotal role in shaping up, who we are. I mean, my job is social work. It is oftentimes can't be measured in remuneration, money and all. Sometimes this morning, this is my 4th hour in June program. Before that, I was in the June program, and I had 3 cups of tea. My husband is saying, do you want to take breakfast? And I had a sandwich. So I can tell you, we cannot, underestimate what they do. But the bias is there, and we have to fight our own battle. United States will soon have a women president, Dineshji. And it's not about just having a president, as Becky said. It has to be the right person to do the job, and that's when the changes will be made. Remembering those women in Ukraine and even in Russia this morning, either they are sending their sons to the war, and the other side of the fence, people are, losing their lives. Remembering from this platform, every single woman who is listening and who will be listening to this program, we are very inspired by your stories. Keep doing what you're doing. And ANTA is a platform which welcomes, trailblazers, even an ordinary person who has their voice to come and, speak. And thank you, Namrata. You have been an amazing moderator. I love the kind of energy you bring to the table. So I'm energized now. So with this note, I'm going into my 3rd session. I'm going to my book club. So thank you, ladies. I can't, thank you enough, so looking forward to seeing you sometimes in life. You never know. Our paths may cross. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for hosting. You did a great job. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.